Hi, my name is Harriet McFeely, and we live in Hastings, Nebraska. We bought a brand new modular home in 1992. It was made by Champion Homes. When we came here, this was a cow pasture. That's how we started. It wasn't very long, and we started having all kinds of health problems, mainly the breathing and severe headaches, and my eyes burning and watering, and it got to the point I could not read. Couldn't read a map. I couldn't read a telephone book, and I had a business to run. I was really, really getting in bad shape. And in the meantime, we had 4 dogs. They were all purebred dogs. They all came, they were not related. They all came from different breeders. And the first thing that happened was I had a little Boston Terrier. His name was Sparky Joe, and he was only about 7 or 8 years old, and he began having grand mal seizures. And at the time, I thought it was just an isolated incident, and we took him to the vet, and she gave him pills for the seizures, which never helped at all. And he eventually died. He was only about, I think, 9 years old. And normally a Boston Terrier will live to be about 14, 15, somewhere around there. So we lost Sparky Joe. At that time, we also had Candy. She was a little Yorkshire Terrier, and by the time she hit about 7 years old, she also began to have seizures. And I've had dogs ever since I was like 8 years old, and never ever had one dog ever that had a seizure. Now I've got 2 in a row. Candy, she died. She finally just totally quit eating. She wouldn't drink. She wouldn't do anything. She died. So that was the end of Candy. Our third dog was little Fatso here. Fatso was a French bulldog. He started off, he was a very healthy dog, no problems, and gradually he got so he was losing weight. He wouldn't eat. We took him to the vet. They gave him all kinds of pills. He began to have seizures. That was the third dog. I couldn't believe it. We took him to Manhattan, Kansas, to the veterinarian college. They put him through all kinds of tests, and the one thing that came out was that his liver enzymes were supposed to be like, I think, 14 to 19. His were 390, so they knew for sure something was going on with his liver. Well, 4 months after going through the college, the vets had no idea what was wrong with him. They said he didn't have cancer, he didn't have leukemia, he didn't have heart trouble, but he was having some really big time problems. Well, 4 months after he was in Manhattan, little Fatso died right in the middle of a seizure. So that was our third dog that we lost, and Fatso was only 8 years old, and he was dead. The next dog that we had was Bowser, and this is what he looked like when he was in his prime. He was about 4 or 5 years old there. Another little Boston Terrier. He was healthy. He was good. By the time he hit about 5 years old, he also started having grand mal seizures. And Valentine's Day of this year, 2008, he just started having, he had 6 seizures in one day. Those finally stopped. The next day, he started having seizures again. He had 7 of them. And we had to put him to sleep, which just absolutely killed us. And I said, I want to know what's wrong with these dogs. The University of Nebraska did an autopsy, and it came back that his liver had hemorrhaged, his brain had hemorrhaged, his kidneys had hemorrhaged, his spleen had hemorrhaged. And when they first looked at him, they said, boy, he is a really old dog. They said, old dogs will die. They thought he was about 20. And I said, he just had his birthday. He was 9 years old, and they could not believe it. And what they thought was that he had got into rat poison. And same way with all of our other dogs. But our dogs are all indoor dogs, and they don't roam the neighborhood. And when they go out to go potty, they're on a leash with us, and they're right back in.
Harriet, when did you find out that a lot of other people that had similar homes were also having mysterious pet deaths, of pets dying way too young, and of similar kinds of diagnoses that you were getting?
Actually, it was right after Christmas, and all of these people had taken their dogs to the vet, just like we did, and the vets really had no idea what was wrong with their animals, except they were dying. And every one of them came back that they had been poisoned with rat poison. And of course, those people didn't either. And the interesting thing was, every single one of their dogs, and even a little guinea pig, every single one of them had grand mal seizures. Every one of them. That was the thing that linked all of us.
How did you come to realize that formaldehyde might be the problem that was causing these pet deaths and the serious illnesses in the people that are living in these homes?
Well, I had no idea what was wrong. I had made hundreds of phone calls. I called the State Health Department, the toxicology, the CDC. We checked our water. It was fine. We checked for radon. It was fine. We checked for sewer gas. It was fine. They thought we were getting gassed by carbon monoxide, which we didn't have in our house because it's all electric. So the only other thing I knew was, with my husband and I, if we would be gone for a long weekend, we were fine. I could actually read, no headaches, no nothing. And when I came home, I wouldn't be home for 5 minutes, and I couldn't read. My eyes would just water and burn. So I knew it had to be something in the house. Yeah, and finally, somebody said, call the chemistry professor at Hastings College. And I told him our story, and bingo, just like that. He said, it's formaldehyde. You're exactly like the FEMA homes that were from Katrina. And I had followed all that on television, and never even occurred to me. I never thought of it, ever. And from then on, I knew that's what's wrong. Well, the second that people told me their stories, not only about their pets, but they had the same thing we did, the burning eyes and the headaches and the fatigue and the depression and the diarrhea, and my memory is shot. They would tell me all those things, and then they would tell me about their dogs having seizures, and all the dogs are dead now, except for, I think there's one left that's hanging on. That's it. But the Sierra Club gave us the formaldehyde kits, which I in turn passed on to the people.
What about the newest homes? Were they over the 0.1 ppm limit or the 100 parts per billion?
They were, one was, I think 164, and the other one I think was 114.
And 100 is the limit for even short-term exposure, correct?
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing too. Everything, well, two things I thought. One was short-term exposure that we were over, but, and this man at the hospital that has the lab there, he said, you're talking about people that are here for an 8-hour day and like a 40-hour week. And he said, you're way, way above that. He said, if we had that in our lab, they'd shut it down. Like that. They would shut it down. And we've been living here like almost 18 years. So I thought, no wonder we're sick. No wonder the pets are dead. And he said, the dogs, because they're short, they're not very big, and they don't weigh very much, 10 to 12 pounds, he said they're probably breathing in 15 times more formaldehyde than we are, because they're close to the ground. Of course, they sleep on the carpet and, sleep in the sun in the windows and all that. So it's no wonder they're dead.